Well, good morning, everybody. How is it going? What'd you think of the jam? Kind of jazzy for a jazzy bunch. Hello, Whist. Hey, Lisa. Hi, Shani. Hey, Boot Heel Sleuth. I was in here trying to say hi as everybody came in, and I don't know who I hit and who I missed. I love coffee. I love coffee too. Hey, Magoo. What's up? This name right here cracks me up. Oh, shh. It's Sherry. Good morning, Sherry. Hey, Cher Bear. Snazzy. Good morning, Snazzy. I got your email. We're going to be doing a show about that in reference to Monkey Vaughn. Not today, but tomorrow. Tomorrow. What's the weather? What's the weather like? A lot of people are getting weather tomorrow. Heather Mack said snow here in Iowa. Not Iowa, Ohio. Hey, Jinbug. Yeah, I refuse. I don't care if I get a chest cold. I don't care if my nose drips. I do not have socks on. Nope, I do not have socks on. Sick of doing it. Tired of it. I understand it's not even February yet, but I am done with the damn socks. Done with them. Now, as I say that in the middle of the show, I might say, hang on, my feet are cold, but it is actually we're supposed to have a little bit of snow tomorrow, which this would be the right time of year for it. I can't believe that we had a cold front that came through before Thanksgiving. That's just not typical for us. That is not typical. So I put a couple of polls up over the weekend. It was a very lazy weekend for us. Just watched some movies that we haven't seen in a long time. Ate like I was going to the chair. I don't know what the hell was going on with that. Damn, I ate my own weight in tortilla chips and whatever I could dunk them in. So, of course, that was just about the extent of my weekend. But I put a couple of polls up over the weekend. One had to bring it up. It's that time of year. What is your Super Bowl pick? Most everybody was going for Chiefs and Eagles. A couple of you said Bengals and 49ers. You know what my prediction is every year. It was my prediction even when they were begging people to take tickets to go watch the Kansas City Chiefs. Like they would say, please, we just need people to be in the stands. Some of you remember those days. Now it almost costs you your freaking mortgage for one ticket. We have one right here, and I cannot pronounce the name. You said Bengals 49ers? Jinbug said now that her team's out, she's Bengals and Eagles. She's got no love for me. I see some fly Eagles fly. Oh shit, it's Sherry. Said, oh shit, it's the Chiefs. Oh shit, it's the Chiefs. Go Hawks. All right. It's on. We just have a few weeks of that chatter. And then we'll see. Zach saying Bengals and Eagles. Interesting. We'll see. Erica loves her Ohio team, so she has no choice because there's only one Ohio team. So the other poll I put up, now I just put this up for the members, I believe. Yeah, it was a members only poll, is about Kim. Some people are calling her WSU Kim. More things came out, and it kind of gets to a point with some people. They get to a point where they say too much. Every case has a Kim. We know that. Every case has a Kim that winds up being called Kimmy Sue or Ivan Sue or Jeremy Sue because the queen of Kims is Jody Sue Brown. If you didn't follow the Summer Wells case, just imagine Kim on crack. That is Jody Sue Brown. 75% of you in this poll said BS. Total BS. So the last show that I did for the Idaho 4, and you know who I'm talking about. I just hate saying the Idaho 4, but you know, Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, Maddie. Or if we say it in order, if you go right to left, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, according to the judge and how she read it out. I played a little bit of a conversation that this Kim had with another channel, Drunk Turkey. They vetted her the whole 9 yards. They actually called her because she had been trying to come up on panel. Well, she went further out and reached out to some other creators and sort of talked herself into a circle, and then, which is the wrong thing to do in the true crime community, because nothing gets past us. Finally, after the shock and awe of what Kimmy Sue Brown had to say, a lot of people were dropping comments on different lives that were saying, now hang on, if she knew all this, why didn't she call the FBI? Well, then it was said, oh, hang on, I did call the FBI. Well, now we have a bigger problem. If you were giving information to the FBI and there was a gag order, and something with that gag order wasn't being met to what the judge expected out of everybody, which I hate to say it, but I blame the family attorney of Kaylee's. Seems like something that week where he was on TV every night rubbed the judge the wrong way. It cherry pissed her off. So she tightens the screws to the gag order. So you have this woman who has information that really only her and her daughter would know, according to her, I guess. She gave this information to the FBI or to the authorities. I don't know exactly where it supposedly went. Well, we have a gag order, a really strict one. Might not have been a bright idea. What do you all think? What do you all think? If you were in the show on Thursday, you heard her conversation with another creator, but I guess it got real wild that night and the next day. What to do? What to do? I just think most people are like, look, if your information's that hot shit, then it needs to go no further than the authorities. But some people get an itch they can't scratch, and they want to make sure everybody knows what they know. Some people hang on their every word and even call them a hero. They say, you're brave, you're a hero. Some people go, nah. When what you're saying does not add up with what the probable cause says, and we know that probable cause is very detailed, then they're like, I'm out. I'm out. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I had a lot of emails and a lot of comments regarding back to the 911 call. Why the 8 hours? And we had Mad Greek got big mad. On the show Friday, I put up a separate video and we discussed it in the weekend review because it was a crazy week last week. So if you missed the weekend review show, go catch up. It kind of highlighted everything. The owner of the Mad Greek came out and said, stop. Bushy never ate here. Never. Quit bringing it up. This reporter, she said, should have vetted heavily, should have vetted more. Well, this reporter said they did. This reporter with People Magazine said this is an ex-employee that can be, this all can be verified. I don't know. We're going to look at that. What do you think? Can the owner have possibly known who frequents and who doesn't? I don't know. Is she a very hands-on owner? And I am not calling this woman a liar. Not at all. If anything, she could capitalize on this. Remember the restaurant that Nicole Brown Simpson ate at? before her fateful night with OJ. Not my cat. You know the OJ I'm talking about. That restaurant was charging for pictures. They started printing t-shirts. If you wanted a picture at the booth or the table she was at, they charged you for it. She could capitalize on this. Some would milk it. They'd change the whole menu. Today only, get your bushy burrito. Vegan, of course. Don't think it wouldn't cross my mind. Don't think it wouldn't cross my mind. Hell, get while the getting's good. Especially the woman's getting followed home. I don't know by who, but that's what she said. Let's get to the comments. The link is pinned, and then we're going to talk about this Mad Greek and a few other things. Court case said, I still question if Dylan went downstairs because it said she had originally went to bed in her room. True. The probable cause used the word originally. She said, so I feel like, why would it say originally if she stayed there the whole time? True. True. The probable cause gives me pause because it puts in the word originally, as if she wasn't in that room the whole time. Why would it even say originally? What do you think? Was she in her room the whole time, or did she come up the stairs, go in her second floor room? She was supposedly in the midst of moving to the second floor room, because it came up in chat here a couple of weeks into the case. And right here, I was like, no, she's not on the second floor or she'd be dead. She damn sure would have seen something on the second floor. She would have heard something. Of course, this was at the time where I was saying those girls had to have heard something. And we had a bunch of people. And as I said on the show, and I say in every case, those people eventually go away. They do, and they did, because they were extremely offended that anybody would suggest that a brutal murder would wake either of these people up. Like, they're picturing Dylan and Bethany with CPAP machines on and earplugs. I'm like, of course it could wake them up. Of course it could wake them up. But that's a very good point by Court K. It said originally. She said, so I feel like, why would it say originally if she stayed there the whole time? Fine Art on Fire was definitely on fire, left several comments. He said, man, it kills me with this whole innocent until proven guilty. Me too. I don't have a black robe. I don't have a black robe. That's for the courts, not for me. Not for you. This does not mean someone else did it just because they haven't had time to hold your court yet. That's true. It doesn't mean that there's a conspiracy. It doesn't mean that there is a Moscow PD cover-up. It doesn't mean just because they haven't had the trial yet and the gavel come down doesn't mean that there's a question about whether he's innocent or not. But he still could be. You don't know. There's a long wait between now and when there's trial. He said, I stand on the fact the witnesses aren't victims. Now, this is just his opinion. They are accusers. When you think about it, Dylan is accusing him of being there. She's the eyewitness. Now, I'm going to agree to disagree. I think anybody that was in that house the night of November 13th damn sure has some trauma to go through. But he says they're accusers. It's not been proven Dylan or Bethany was even there. So they can miss me with the victim shaming stuff. Well, I think they definitely were there, But I agree. I agree. The innocent until proven guilty, that's for the courts. That's for the Constitution. I didn't write the Constitution. I learned about it in school. He went on to say, something just hit me and I had to come back and say it. Imagine this story is exactly the exact same, except replace Dylan with a 40-year-old man. Now, how silly does it sound? That man would be crucified if he tried to sell this. Nobody would be saying the man has every reason to wait 8 hours to call or to alert the authorities or that he froze in fear. I kind of liked that little parallel that he threw in there. I kind of like that. ICU too, not the ICU that's on Justin's panel, but or that comes into chat, different ICU, but ICU too said the animal hair could also be from Einan's cat, LOL. And I LOL'd because I would have a freaking cow if it comes out to be cat hair. Everybody's been waiting. I mean, since the get, when they found out that there was a puppy dog in the house, that the dog's going to solve it. Boot Heel Sleuth, you have your camera on, babe. You can turn that off. You're safe. We know who you are. Livewire. Livewire was a real Livewire. Says, I don't give an F if he ate there, and I don't know why you would care. Let me be very specific. I don't really care about Bushy's dining habits. I really don't. I do wonder if Livewire ate a brain tumor for breakfast before leaving me this comment, because pretty much everything that this dude has done could be significant leading up to a quadruple murder. What do you mean? Why would it not be a big deal if he frequented the restaurant that two of the victims worked at? Are you kidding me? Eating at the place where two of them worked, I would say, well, 1 + 1 = 2. This could have been his fascination. This could have been what led him to the house. We don't know. Of course it's going to be discussed. If you, I don't understand and I see it quite a bit when someone posts something and you get, one or two, usually just one, is the gate buster and goes, and what does that have to do with anything? And why are you posting if you have nothing to add? What are you talking about? If he was eating once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, I don't care if he was there every day at 11:58 a.m. and then ordered takeout in the evenings. That could be the connection. I go back to what the police said, though, a few weeks in, when they said in their latest release, it's on the screen, Moscow police stated that the prosecutor's identification of the case as a targeted attack was a miscommunication. This was the police calling out the DA, who does no wrong in my book. Moscow police said detectives do not currently know if any of the occupants of the house on King Road were specifically targeted, but they're continuing to investigate. That was the last thing that they really said as far as targeted and isolated. They even went as far as to say it could be the house. Something about the house could have got him all riled up. But to say, I don't care where he ate, and I don't care. I don't know why you would care. I didn't say it was keeping me up at night. I just think that if he frequented why can I not say that word? If he was there quite a bit, or even just once, 2 of the victims worked there. The hell? Cobain murder. Very cool name. until you hear the comment. Quit talking about DM. She is a victim, FFS, which means for F's sake. You don't know what you would do. All right, I thought I addressed this before. I'm going to use a term of Bushy's. I've been in this meat suit for quite a while. Okay, I'm walking around in a meat suit. I'm pretty sure I know what I would do if there was a stranger in my house. Going back to when I was 20 and I was going to parties. I wasn't the most popular person, but sometimes people did invite me to things. If I saw someone who didn't belong there and creeped me out, I think I know what I would do. I think it's pretty damn rude to tell a grown adult that you don't even know what you would do. Like, I would run. For each their own. I would jump out a damn window. I would scream, I would yell, I would bite, I would kick, I would run. I know what I would do. And how the hell did a Gen Xer with such a cool display name leave such a freaking Karen comment? I don't get that. And if the police are still investigating, and they still cannot answer what went on for those 8 hours and why it took so long to call, then what the hell is wrong with us asking a question? My God. Look at Mermaid. I would stop, drop, and roll because I panic easily. Exactly. 4th grade would come back to me when we had fire prevention meetings. If you catch on fire, like if you're in the backyard and your dad's drunk and you decide to help with the grill and you catch on fire, you drop and roll. I would probably do something like that. Leslie says, why aren't my messages coming up? I see your message. I just put it on the screen. So, I mean, all of that, if you are dead set that Dylan shut the door, went to sleep, woke up, realized what was going on, and she is 100% a victim in all of this, that she was so frozen, which could happen. Hell, sometimes it takes a month for shock to wear off. Then just leave it alone. You've already made up your mind. But to those that are like, what the hell was going on for 8 hours? Why did it take so long? Don't think that the families of the victims, and when I say the victims, I mean the ones on the screen. Don't think that it hasn't crossed their mind, or probably it might even cross their mind several times a day. Like, if a call had been made really fast, even for a noise complaint, maybe one of the kids could have survived. I don't know. It would cross my mind. It damn sure would. It damn sure would. I know that I would have a reaction. Don't tell me that I don't know what I would do. I know I would have a reaction. I would get killed in the process, but I would have a reaction. I'm telling you. My reaction would be clumsy, messy, loud. Probably grab my purse and start beating Bushy with it. I don't know, but there would be some running involved for sure. Yanka knows what she would do. She said, I know that if a stranger's in my house, someone's leaving in a body bag. Same. And people have reached out and they're saying, look, I have frozen in fear before, but I snapped out of it quick. Some people have said, look, I've gone into shock and it took several hours to wear off. We don't know. But we can discuss it. There is nothing saying that we can't discuss that 4 extremely brutal murders took place between 4 a.m. and, let's say, 4:20 in the morning, 4:25, in less than 30 minutes. Somebody saw him. Dylan saw him. She also heard somebody's here. She heard Xana crying. She saw him dressed in black. Casey Jordan said, ninja style. She thinks that he got the ninja gear at Walmart and 2 trips to Marshall's. She froze in fear, shut the door. Then we wonder what the hell went on. We can only speculate that Bethany woke up and came upstairs. Ethan's sister-in-law said, then why call your friend's boyfriend to come check the house out before you come out of your room? That poor young man saw his good friends in that scene. Therapy for life on that one. This is on Reddit. This is supposedly Ethan's sister-in-law. So these are conversations that the family is having. They've got to be. They've got to be. Let's see what Boot Heel has to say, because we're going to go over the Mad Greek. I want to see what you guys think about it. Is this damage control that they don't want the name of their restaurant always associated with horrific crimes? She truly is 100% sure he never ate there. What do you think it is? You tell me. Let's see what Boot Heel thinks. What's up, Boot Heel?
Hey, Brooks. Not a whole lot. Just taking a little break from that one case this morning. Wanted to jump in and see what's been going on in the Idaho case. So, yeah, I was listening in the background. First off, about wouldn't know what they're going through. Shit, like they said, somebody be leaving in a body bag because it would have been 5 instead of 4. And possibly 5.5, because I'm sure I would have caught some kind of damage myself. But I'd have made sure he wouldn't have left if I seen that. I can just imagine the scene. I mean, I can just imagine the scene. So, yeah, but who is Kim? That's what I want to know.
On the show Thursday, it was the conversation that I played. She has I really don't want to further spread it, but basically she says that,
is she a friend, or is she a family member, or is she somebody related to the victims?
Her daughter goes to school there.
Oh, so a bystander in a way, roundabout.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought, I done thought Eminem's ex-wife had made a notice in the show here or something. I didn't even know. I was like, who is Kim?
That would be welcome. No, she just kind of put in some extra. At first it was, there's a lot of drugs in the town. She said that the house on King Road is a trap house. Something was said about how she knew what was going on by 10 a.m. Well, how can you know by 10 a.m. when the 911 call was made at noon? Why would you? I mean, I would call 911 myself.
Right. Exactly.
If I'd heard such a crazy story.
I don't understand for the life of me why DM didn't just hit a DM of the 911 caller and be like, because I know some places, when you call 911 or whatever, if you can't make an actual phone call, they have a way you can go online and do it. And I'm sure these, the survivors know how to work a phone and know how to, hit 911 in the browser. I mean, I'm just saying it still don't make sense to me with all of that. And I think it was last week or over the weekend or something, I saw a video or a receipt or something other about Brian and the DoorDash thing. I think I messaged you about it, about the DoorDash. And that same white truck that we saw DM boot up against, and the same white truck that went by in the video where the girls were walking to the grub truck, it's being said that was the truck that Brian was in. Bushy,
well,
I'm sorry.
Then why was the FBI looking for an Elantra, and why did they take one into evidence? Why do they have a search warrant for an Elantra?
Well, here's my theory on that. We know that they've got Bushy Ninja fingerprint on the sheath, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that there's somebody else involved. the only way that I'm gonna be made a believer that he was the only single person acting in that crime was if whenever they do the reenactment, which I'm sure they will do in the courtroom, and they can do it in the amount of time that it was done. That's the only way I'll be made to be a believer. And if the animal hair is not a cat hair or Jeremy's dog, that's the only way.
So you think Brian is innocent?
No, hell no, not by a long shot. I don't. But I believe that there was somebody else involved in that crime with him. I do believe it.
Well, and some people do. Some people do. I mean,
'Cause, I mean,
obviously, there's going to be they're going to have to explain to a jury. They're going to have to do crime scene reenactment.
yeah.
I don't know that they will role play. I don't think that the prosecutor, I don't think Santa Claus is going to go to Walmart and make 2 trips to Marshall's and dress up like a ninja, but they will explain to them how this went down.
Right. And I mean, I believe that's why they was taking the mattress and stuff out of the house and things like that to go, secure it in a reenactment, well, in another storage area so that they can do because I mean and when they do that reenactment, that's going to be the tale of both sides right there, just to watch the look on the people who are getting questioned, the witnesses' faces and things like that. That's when they do that reenactment, that's going to break or make a lot of people in this whole case. I feel
a lot of people think that. Love Coding said only a butcher could take out 100-pound person in 4 minutes on average.
Or only a dizzy chef that likes to go, chop on some squash real quick. He does have some quick hands. You got to say that for the chef. He's got some quick hands.
But there's no connection. I know what you're going at, but there's no connection between Einan and Brian. And Brian is a loner. He didn't have any friends.
Well, I mean, we could always use the incel theory.
Incels don't have any friends. Incels like to tickle people on the first date. They can't get laid if they crawl up a chicken's ass.
Very true, Brooks. Very true. But I just cannot shake the chef. And I mean, he was real, adamant being out there in the sights and everything else. And now where's he went? He's just kind of like slipped back into the shadows, like the dizzy ninja.
He went on a vacation or something. He was in.
Yeah, that's what it's to California. San Francisco is where he went. But I just do not know, to be honest. I hate that we have to wait till June for this to play out. But.
Well, I mean, a lot more stuff's going to come out. But you mentioned the 911 call. This has been floating around forever and a day. And the way it's explained is that the call was made, I think, from Dylan's phone, but that when they got outside, nobody else went in. I don't understand all this, but they went outside and she passed out. Now, this is after being frozen. Okay, so it says, didn't one of the housemates make the call? Didn't they think the kids were alive, just unconscious? That's what the caller stated, but that's not what happened. Because Steve explained it to a news anchor reporter with NBC News. It still didn't make sense, but you can tell he was just repeating what he had been told. They said the call was made from Dylan's phone, but a male friend, also a fraternity brother, is the one who spoke to 911. Now, from what I understood from the chief, many people spoke to 911. It was a very chaotic scene, like they were handing the phone around.
Yeah, that's what I remember him saying too. Multiple people talked to the 911 dispatcher.
So also a fraternity brother is the one who spoke to 911. Dylan actually fainted outside in the front yard, so he took the phone. He had not been in the house yet, so that is why the initial 911 call stated that a person had passed out. At that time, he didn't know what had happened inside. But then we have this, it's supposed to be from Ethan's sister-in-law. Then why did you call your friend's boyfriend to come check the house out before you came out of your room? That poor young man saw his good friends in that scene. That makes more sense to me. Somebody come over here and look at this, and then they all run outside. And the passing out in the cold air, I don't know. know.
I'm sorry. Here's another thing you need to look at too. And a report that come out just here recently, I believe after Dateline and things like that come out, Didn't the police officer say that the smell of blood was overwhelming?
And that's another question. That's another question I have, because the heat was on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Her room door was closed. I'm going to assume Bethany's was closed. How could you go through that smell? I heard
You
that.
couldn't. I'm gonna tell you right now, you couldn't. I've been around crime scenes and you couldn't. And ain't no way you would have passed out inside your room from the smell.
I mean, I wonder if they didn't get the hell out of the house altogether and then come back, is what I'm
Well,
thinking now. I wouldn't think it would be odd that Dylan and Bethany didn't have overnight guests with them. It's Saturday night. I mean, I that's just what I'm thinking. I would think that they would have just gotten the hell out of there. Maybe we're afraid to call 911 because maybe underage drinking could have, partaken in some, drugs. I mean, marijuana is illegal there and they wanted to make sure it was out of their system. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know. I'm not accusing, but how the hell how could you breathe that for that long? And I'm not saying it smelled what was described the whole time.
you couldn't. I mean, I'll just say this: I've been in a crime scene where the whole bedroom was covered, and it was from a gunshot wound to the head, and there is no way in hell, excuse my language, but no way that happened. And I would like to know why. We got Dylan's statement pretty much, but why haven't we got anything about Bethany's
Well,
statement?
it's a probable cause affidavit. They're only putting enough in it to get an arrest warrant from the judge. This isn't even near anything. But they put in there that they have an eyewitness to secure the arrest. My question is, because there more will come out in June, more will come out in at the trial for sure. My question is, why wasn't it redacted? They already know, I mean, that this case, in their own words, this case is notorious.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they redact all that out about Dylan? Thank you for becoming a new YouTube member, Mike. Why didn't they? We know probable causes don't put all the evidence in.
Mm-mm.
So why on earth did they not redact that? They make sure to protect the identity of the DoorDash driver. They protect the identity of the person that brought Kaylee and Madison home, but they leave, bus, reverse, Dylan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they want to protect the witness, but yet that's in the affidavit. I mean, plain and simple. They shouldn't have put that. I mean, if they was putting that in there to satisfy all of us, then they should just let us be the judge and jury and let us try him.
It has, the public's right to know is why a citizen has lost their rights and they're in jail. There's plenty in there. I mean, it could just be his dad's DNA out of the trash can. It could just be the touch DNA from the sheath. That's enough for the public. You
Right.
don't need all the rest of that. And if you heard me reading the search warrant, I only read like one page of it.
Yeah.
Where the powers that be in Washington said they are going to seal their search warrant because of the surviving people in the house, meaning Dylan and Bethany. Then
Right.
here comes the probable cause, like a dump truck through a domino that has it all out there for everyone to see.
Yeah, when they unsealed it, it had not one copy of the report from the officer, but it was two copies of the report, making
I
sure that
don't
we
know why search warrants do that. They'll have the probable cause. I've seen some of them before where they've got the probable cause in there like 5 different times. It's like once is enough. Just Samantha said it's not enough for me, Brooks, and it wouldn't be enough for most juries. We don't even know if all of this evidence is going to be allowed in trial.
Right.
We don't know. That's the reason they have to have tons and tons and tons. If they say, I mean, people talk about cold cases.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time cold cases are because they know exactly who did it, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
their evidence can't be used in court. It gets
Exactly. That's the problem I'm running into now in my Missouri case.
all right, one case at a time, Natasha.
Sorry.
We had this
Uh,
problem the other day. Another case got brought up and it all went to hell.
yeah.
So
It's just what you said is true, though. I mean, the evidence, and like I said, if they knew it was him without a shadow of doubt, they should have never put, all the other stuff out. They should have left it all sealed and just kept it as it was and went on about their docket lives, I guess you could say.
I'm not a fan of sealing a probable cause affidavit. You want to keep everything under wraps, have at it. A probable cause, though, that bugs me. Even when they did it in Delphi and then they unseal it, and I'm like, oh come on, oh come on. I mean, they redacted a lot of it, but
Yeah.
I'm not for that. I mean, redact whatever you want, but at least the public should know why a citizen was walking free and clear one day and why now they're in jail. Let's look
Well,
at
I agree.
the
I
Mad.
agree with you there. I'm just saying, like the things that were taken out of his apartment and all this other stuff. That, yeah, you know, because now it leaves us all to wonder and all this stuff.
Well, everything's open now. There's nothing to wonder about.
Well, I just wonder if they're going to keep the DNA from all them hair strands and the animal hair strands a secret, or if they going to let that out.
Well, I mean, there's a gag order. So as they get testing back on everything they took out of his apartment in Washington, his car, the house in Pennsylvania, they're not gonna say anything to the press. It probably won't come out until June or maybe at the trial, which could be 2 years from now. So
Right.
the lady at the Mad Greek was not happy about this at all. Now, she
Mm-mm.
said from the beginning, he did not eat there. Leave it alone, go away. People magazine talked to a former employee, I believe this person is, that said it is no secret there that he did eat there. And it's not like a non disclosure agreement. It's just known. Don't talk to the media. It could even be from the police, too. Guys, don't talk to the media. Don't talk about this on social media. Keep it to yourselves. But anyway, she came out and she said, excuse me, she said the news media should really do their due diligence before running a story with completely fabricated information. This will be my only response to the story from people. It is not true. This person who wants their 5 minutes of fame has now caused a whole bunch of extra work for myself and the investigators. And that would piss off the Pope. Now, let's be fair about this. The person that wants their 5 minutes of fame was not on camera, and their name was not used. She said, I also have not forbidden employees from speaking to reporters. We all decided collectively to support the families and not share anything that could potentially harm the investigation or cause the families more stress. I couldn't agree with that more. I couldn't agree with that more.
True.
She said to all media reporters, internet sleuths, etc., please allow us to grieve the loss of our friends and coworkers. This has been incredibly hard on us. With our phones ringing off the hook, reporters banging on my door at my private residence, I'd call the police, that's trespassing,
Mm-hmm.
and hunting down employees as well as showing up, and she put hunting in quotes, hunting down employees as well as showing up constantly at the restaurant, we have not been afforded the time to grieve. Please stop calling, messaging, knocking, and showing up. I personally will not be doing any interviews or entertaining wild accusations at this time. My employees also feel the same. To all others, please don't believe everything you read. It's not coming from the courts or the police. Wait until it does or doesn't before judging. That's the sentence that gets me. Wait until it does or doesn't. So if it's not true, we don't need that sentence. I have a feeling it could be true, and she might be a witness. She may have to testify, yeah, he's been at my restaurant. Yeah. Because why would you even put that in there? Wait
Right.
until it does or doesn't before judging. She says, to everyone who has supported myself, my family, and my employees, thank you. Your kind words and support help us get through each day while we navigate these unknown times. I'm not calling her a liar at all, but I think it's damage control. I do think it's damage control. You don't want your business always tied to such a horrific crime in such a tiny community. Or it could be that the police have said, we don't need all this getting out here. It's crazy enough as it is. Rexy, thank you for the super sticker. Rexy said, if someone else was involved, don't you think they would be arrested by now? Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. On one hand, I think because things have calmed way down, they have Bushy in jail, then there's not such a pressure to get someone else. But if there's a madman out on the loose for public safety interest, I think they would hurry to get that person. But no, I agree with you. I think if they had any inkling that somebody else was involved, they I don't think there'd be a gag order. I think that there would be still more press conferences. I think for public safety, they would say now even in Delphi, they said there could be someone else.
Right.
So anyway, what do we think about this? Do we think she's trying to save?
I think it's like you said, damage control. For real. I mean, because didn't the Corner Club have to make a public statement like that? Similar?
They did. It's on the screen. They said the suspect was not and has not been here. No one was removed from the bar the evening of the incident. Stop calling us. Now, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Piss off, people. That's how you do it. He wasn't here. This I can believe. I can believe he wasn't at the Corner Club. Hands down.
Right.
I don't think anybody was like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure he wasn't there? He wasn't even there for a dollar beer night. He wasn't in a pool league, anything like that. No, I think everybody was like, yeah, I can see he wasn't hanging out there. But now a restaurant that serves vegan food, this lady was even specific about what he eats. Even specific about that. Before I get to the clip, I did just see a very important comment. Today is Boo Sheet's birthday. Let's take a second to tell Boo Sheet happy birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Boo Sheet. I hope you have a great day. I hope it doesn't snow. I hope you don't have to wear socks.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All right, so let's listen to this back to back, I guess.
Okay.
We'll go from what was reported about how specific they were about what he ate there, and then the backlash of not just he didn't eat there often, but his ass was never in one of my seats. His ass was never around here. Like I said, though, she could, if she wanted to, she could capitalize on this. She could. She could be like, yep, come right in, guys. I'll tell you all about when he ate here.
We have a First Amendment right. You can't gag me. Can't gag a lot of people, but the judge of the case, she can actually gag people who actually work for the court, officers of the court, attorneys on the case, prosecutors on the case, attorneys for the families, attorneys who are tangential to the parties in this case, witnesses in this case, and a lot of people. So a tougher gag order was just issued in the last few hours, making it harder to get these details. Well, no matter. Steve Helling gets them anyway, and he joins me now. He is a senior reporter with People magazine, and he has a long history in doing crime and justice reporting, which is why he got this story. Steve, congratulations on your exclusive reporting. Really remarkable stuff. Walk me through what you found out.
Well, yes. I started speaking to, as you and I both did, we tried to reach as many people as we could who used to work at, the Mad Greek restaurant. And, very few people wanted to talk, but I did end up speaking to somebody who worked there until recently, who said that, yes, indeed, they did see Bryan Kohberger come there a couple of times, at least twice. And the only reason why he stood out was not because he was being creepy, not because he was doing anything weird, but he's such a strict vegan that he was requiring that he wanted to make sure that all of his food had not come in contact with animal products. So that's why he stood out, because he had a special request with his order. And yes, he was there. We don't know who waited on him. We don't know if that's where he met, a couple of the victims, but we know that he at least went there to eat a couple of times.
And we know that Maddie and Xana Kernodle and Manny both.
Okay, he said, we do know that he went there to eat a couple of times. Again, for those of you who work in restaurants, have worked in a restaurant, I know a couple of you own restaurants. I don't know how she can be in two places at once. Is she primarily front of the house or back of the house? He said, we do know he ate there a couple of times. It is not it's really, if you know what, he could have eaten there. He could have ate there a couple of times, and neither Xana or Madison were working there. Not only are you talking about two of the victims being employed there, but the other two victims they would hang out there. Ethan would go and eat there and see his girlfriend. Kaylee left a review. She specifically named Maddie. So of course, I'm going back to this comment from Livewire that says, I don't give an F if he ate there, and I don't know why you would care, because the four victims worked or hung out there. So he said, we know that he's eaten there a couple of times.
Exactly.
We're both servers at that restaurant. We can also say this, Steve's work is particularly good because many of the folks who work at the Mad Greek restaurant have met together and agreed as a unit not to speak to the press. They've also been asked by the police not to speak to the press. So the person that you spoke with was somebody who is just outside of that circle, who had just worked there and clearly still had this intelligence, but wasn't sort of bound by that that codified agreement that they all had together. But here's what's interesting. I think it was an aunt or an uncle or maybe a couple of aunts of Bryan Kohberger who said many weeks ago that one of the strange personality traits that their nephew had was that he did not want to eat out of any pots that had once been used to even cook meat. So he had that tendency in the family in Pennsylvania that his vegan diet was so strict, he had to have new pots. They bought new pots and pans if he was going to be coming for dinner. So this kind of is in line with what this employee was telling you.
Yeah, I mean, things start lining up, and the more they line up, the clearer the picture gets. And so, yeah, that doesn't mean that he was doing anything weird at this restaurant. It just stood out. Anybody who's waited tables, I did it in college. I still remember people who stood out because they had strange things. And that's what happened here.
So I want to ask you about the messaging in just a moment, but I'm looking at your piece and I'm actually looking at the Reddit account at the same time that allegedly belongs to Bryan Kohberger. If you do a lot of the side-by-side comparison, one of the Reddit accounts called Inside Looking, many have pointed to the fact that this appears to be Bryan Kohberger, and that the person who goes under the handle Inside Looking insisted that M+X were the killer's targets. That would be Maddie and Xana, who both worked at the Mad Greek restaurant. So once again, the pieces start to line up.
Yeah.
Back to the Mad Greek. What was it that he was ordering there? Because you never know. It could be a small detail that, that speaks volumes.
He was a vegan, and they are one of very few restaurants in the area that serve vegan food. And from what everybody says, it's the best place if you're a vegan. So he was getting vegan pizza. He could order and customize the pizza that he.
All right, so he at least checked this part out. He's saying that, according to her, $23.27, that's the price, that this is what he would order, the Kira's Amazing Vegan Pizza. That's what he was getting. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And if she's saying, but she's not saying, she's mad. She's big mad that this story came out. Instead of just saying, we're cooperating with the police. We don't know if he's eaten there before. We don't know. He could have gotten takeout. But here going forward, leave my employees alone. Don't come to my house. This has been horrific for everyone involved. Not taking anything away from the victims at all, but I don't need to pull into my driveway and see Brian Enton standing in the snow to talk to me. I don't need that shit. Could have just left it at that. But just a hard no, he's never been there. A lot of people are like, how could she know?
He wanted with vegan ingredients, and that's what he wanted, and that's why he went there.
Do we know at this point from your source whether Maddie and Xana had any contact with him? Were they servers for his table? Were they behind the counter when he ordered? Do we know if there was any actual connection made?
We don't know any specific connection, but if you've ever seen this restaurant, this isn't a huge restaurant. This isn't a cheesecake factory where there's a whole bunch of people around. So the chances are that there was some sort of at least incidental contact between them, or at least he would have noticed them.
He could certainly see them without question. Whether
Right.
he stood out as a customer that was noteworthy, that's a whole other, other story.
Okay. And other people have commented and said, listen, they have vegan meals on the menu. They have separate utensils, separate pots and pans, the whole 9 yards. They understand people that are vegan. They don't cook a steak and then make your vegan pizza in the same skillet. They don't do that. They stand behind, this is a vegan, our menu items that are vegan are cooked separately than anything that we have meat in. So anyone that says, no, there's no way he would eat there, that's what I was thinking at one time. That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, if he's that strict, and then people that have eaten there have said, no. If you're eating vegan, that is a common question to ask. I didn't know that because I'm not vegan.
Well, I mean, you would think that because well,
and some vegetarians are that way. Some vegetarians are. It's not just a vegan thing. Some vegetarians are. I worked with a guy one time, and he was vegetarian, not vegan, and if we ordered a pizza, and we say make one half vegetarian and one half, say, meat lovers, he would be like, nope, if it's even touched meat, I'm not eating it. It would have to be a totally separate pizza. So vegetarians are that way too. So people that have actually eaten at the restaurant, not me, have said, no, it is vegan flair all the way around for those items. I don't know. And they have more than just that one meal. I know way too much about this right now. It's making my brain about to explode. So let's get to the part or the other clip where they said, look, this isn't true at all. Either this person made this up or this reporter who has never been accused of making anything up before, today was the day he decided to make it up. So let's look at that. because I certainly don't want to put out there, if she's worried about the reputation of her restaurant, we certainly don't want to put out there, hey, look, if you order a vegan meal, they mix and match, if you know what I mean. They have skillets for pork, and they have, but they don't have separate skillets for vegan meals. That's going to lose a certain clientele. She certainly doesn't want that. If her whole thing is she doesn't want to mess up her nice business, she certainly doesn't want to say, if you eat vegan, be prepared, because your food might have touched meat or been cooked in something that was cooked, had meat cooking in it. She certainly doesn't want that out there. No way. Because from what I'm understanding, that's a no.
A late update here, late breaking update to the story that we brought you last night, where People Magazine had said that they had found a restaurant employee of the Mad Greek restaurant in Idaho who confirmed that Bryan Kohberger had been in that restaurant a couple of times, ordered a vegan pizza, had some strange requests. And that really gave us the nexus to the victims in the Idaho killings. But the woman who runs and owns the Mad Greek restaurant is pushing back, Jackie Fisher. She is saying the news media should really do their due diligence before running a story with completely fabricated information. This will be my only response to this story from People. It's not true. However, I will say this, People Magazine talked to a former employee of the restaurant, and an investigator, a source of theirs, confirmed that it was true. So that's tricky, and we'll have to navigate through all of that. But I can't think of a better example of the full saturation news coverage of sensational cases that keeps us all on the edge of our seats, but at the same time possibly poisoning a jury pool. That can happen. Susan Constantine knows this well, because she's a jury consultant, she's a trial strategy expert, and not coincidentally, she's a human behavior expert. She's consulted on some of the biggest high-profile trials of our times, Jeffrey Epstein, Michael Jackson, among them. Susan, first let me just start off with the obvious question. Changing a venue is usually what you hear first, right? That's what defense lawyers, sometimes prosecutors, Jerry Sandusky, the prosecutors wanted it out of there. But changing a venue is different in this day and age, because venues were all the same with social media, with your phone and the instant alerts. Is there such thing as a change of venue anymore?
Well, the last I heard of a really big trial that I was, aware of here was in Orlando, Casey Anthony trial. We didn't have a change of venue, but they were pulling in jurors from Pinellas County into Orange County. That actually was effective in this particular case. But I want to share with you that I just got back from London, and in the grocery store in London, there were two of the workers that were there where they were talking about the Idaho murder case and already said about that man that had killed those 4 people. So you're right. I mean, there's nowhere you can hide, nowhere you can go. Everyone's heard of it, no matter where they're at. We're a global universe. The World Wide Web makes you feel like you know the people next door.
So when you get hired, what do you look for? What are your tricks of the trade so that you know someone who's up on the stand getting voir dired to be a member of a jury panel? You know they're not a stealth juror who's got a mission, right? I'm going to nail that guy, or I'm going to write a book, or whatever it is they might do. What do you look for to make sure you get the panel that your client, be it the prosecutor or the defense, needs?
Well, that's a really good question too, Ashley, because really you start with the demographic factors. We know that there are specific type of jurors that tend to be more egalitarian versus authoritarian based on their job, their background. And then you go into, in every case it's different. So for, let's say the Idaho murder case, we've got 4 people that were killed. 3 of them were women. So that's going to change the dynamics. How many of those people that are on that jury pool or that were summoned for the jury that have children the same age that may also be in college, that may project their fears and concerns on that particular defendant? That's one of them. The other thing is that once you compile certain demographic factors, we know that women are generally harder on crime than most men are when it comes to these violent acts against women, even in sexual assault cases. And then in addition to that, then what I'm doing is I'm watching their responses. I want to find people that are really honest. When I say honest, I mean you could sense in their facial expressions, their warmth in their eyes, they want to be helpful, and they are easily to have a conversation with. So they're not really forcing it. And so you can tell that, and when you're reading facial expressions, because you can see it in the muscles in their face and what's firing. So I'm looking for contemptuous facial expressions. Those are the smirks, the eyebrow raises, the demeanor, rapid eye blinking, which is showing cognitive load. So I like to look across the panel, and I want to see when a probative question is asked, one that should create some sort of stimulus. I'm watching to see which jurors' eyes are blinking more rapidly than others. So I mean,
It's fascinating. Well, yeah. Yes. I'm going to get you back next week. I'm running out of time, but I want to get you back next week because jury selection starts on Monday. Susan Constantine, thank you.
She wants to get her back next week. She's like, it's fascinating. I'll see you next week. But I am glad. I wasn't planning on getting into all that, but I am glad that she brought that up. I watched a documentary. This has been quite a while ago, but they were talking about how they pick a jury. It's safe to say that the people in Moscow, Idaho, are a little more fired up about this case than people that follow true crime. Just because this is being covered heavily on the news doesn't mean everybody's following it or everybody is even interested in it. So there is that. But in that town, I can't imagine anybody not knowing about it. And just because somebody fills out the questionnaire right, that's not what they look at. They want them. They can tell by, she said, their mannerisms and things like that. Like, what gets them going? What gets them going? There was actually, I don't know if she's in here now. Somebody was called to be on a jury, and on the questionnaire specifically asked, and you don't know what case you're going to be on, but she figured it must have something to do with children, because on this questionnaire asked, have you ever heard of the Casey Anthony case? That has ruined it for a lot of people, because there's so many people that you see a mother on trial for something, you're like, oh, here we go, another Casey Anthony. But anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that. Jeannie sent me this email. This has been going around over the weekend. Now, we all know that Brian Bushy, he wanted to work with the police. This email, it was sent back to him in April of 2022. 2022. Let me read it. So it says, Brian, let me put my glasses back on my face. Great to meet and talk with you as well. So Brian met with somebody, Gary Jenkins, Chief of Police, Pullman Police Department. He didn't say great to talk with you. He said great to meet and talk with you as well. So he's responding to him. Brian had sent to him, Chief Jenkins, it was a great pleasure to meet with you today and share my thoughts and excitement regarding the research assistantship for public safety. I look forward to hearing from you. Now, if I was told correctly, in Pullman, they have a new thing they're trying out where they can actually see live body cam. Now, Moscow police is not a part of this research. They're not a part of this experiment. Brian wanted to be a part of this. Well, it appears that they didn't want Brian. That could have been something that set him off. I have often wondered if Brian Bushy, if he was the one calling in all those noise complaints. I've always wondered that. There was no noise complaints the morning of November 13th. Brian brought that up. She was like, how come no noise complaints that morning? That's odd. It was so loud that it woke Dylan up. It was so loud that the dog learned to bark. It was so loud that a neighboring camera picked up the audio. There was no noise complaint that day. Maybe it was him calling him in.
I don't know. Brooks, I'm going to have to jump off of here, though. I'm going to try to listen in the background, but I am going to have to jump off. I agree with you on it, though. And one thing I wanted to point out real quick, though, was in the comments, GT had said or something other about he should be freed. Why would anybody want the one person they have as a suspect right now freed, like you said, in case there's a crazy man running around? But why would they even say that? I mean, why?
Well,
Just 'cause-
we agree to disagree around here, and there's some people that don't think that this evidence is a slam dunk, and they think that it's not real overwhelming evidence. They think that he should be given,
Exonerated.
not exonerated, but that he should at least have a bond. There's some people that are like, no, I don't think this doesn't make him look suspicious to me. Some people think that.
Right. But I think you're doing a wonderful job. I love your lives. I'm sorry I haven't been able to catch a whole lot of them here lately, but been trying to watch them in the background and things like that. But yeah, I'm gonna
All
get
right,
off of here.
girlfriend, we'll see
See you later.
We'll see you in Discord.
All right, bye.
All right, so this came out the other day. This is his notification of rights. And it's the standard. It's the standard. That's page 1 right there. Charge description, burglary, murder in the first, murder in the first, murder in the first, murder in the first. So it just goes through his rights, and he has to initial, not so much that he agrees, but that he understands. So the first one, you have the absolute right to remain silent. Well, he got that one because he put a big old BK there. You have the right to represent yourself and present your case without the aid of an attorney. He put a BK there. Number 3, you have the right to hire your own attorney to represent you in this matter. If you wish to be represented by an attorney, but feel you cannot afford one, it's basically his Mirandas. He put a big old BK right there. And we get to page 2. Under the law, you're presumed innocent unless you plead guilty. He put a big old BK there. The charges pending before the court are felony matters. If you are charged by a criminal complaint, they must be set for a prelim hearing within 14 days. He waived that. His prelim is going to be in June, but he put a BK there. At the prelim, the state must prove that it is more than probable than not that you committed the alleged crimes. He put a BK there. 7, if you are being charged by a grand jury indictment, you will be arraigned on that indictment before another court. They didn't go to grand jury, but he still put a BK there. You have the right to a public and speedy jury trial or a court trial if your case goes to trial. He put a BK there. The burden will be upon the state. He got it. If you are not satisfied with the decision of the court, you may appeal. He put a BK there. If you are in custody, you have the following additional rights. That you have a right to communicate with an attorney or immediate family, and reasonable means will be provided for you to do so. You have a right to bail, which is an amount of money necessary to allow your release and assure your presence in court at a future date. He put a BK there, but they're not giving him bail. Then it says, if you have been arrested or are being held on a charge from a county other than this county, you may request in writing that you wish to plead guilty to the charge in this county and consent, my glasses are not working, to a disposition of the case in the other county. That doesn't matter, but anyway, he put a BK there. 12, your exercise of any of these rights shall not be held against you. He put a BK there. Then we get to number 3. I guess either he got writer's cramp or he decided to get silly. It says, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time? He put no. He's a straight shooter. He's a vegan. He's not going to put anything in his body, even though I say he's a fake vegan. Has anyone made you any promises or coerced you to act in this matter? Well, he didn't check yes or no. So where it asks, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol? He put no. Has anyone made you any promises or coerced you to act in this matter? He didn't hit yes or no. Would you like the court to read the charging document to you? He said yes. Then it says, please choose only one of the following options to indicate how you wish to be represented. I wish to apply for a court-appointed attorney. He put yes. I wish to be given a continuance. He didn't answer that. I wish to hire my own attorney. He didn't answer that because he's getting a court-appointed attorney. So he didn't answer that. I wish to waive my right to be represented by an attorney. He put no, he wants an attorney. So those we can understand why he skipped a few things. But where it says, has anyone made you any promises or coerced you to act in this manner? He didn't answer yes or no. Is that his way of saying, what do you mean act in this manner? I didn't do anything. Or is he leaving it blank to add to reasonable doubt? What do you guys think? I think he thinks he's being smart. I don't know. What do you think? Why would he not check yes or no on that? Has anyone made you any promises or coerced you to act in this manner? He didn't check yes or no. Mama Kay said that just means he knows what he's doing. Slim. He's trying to point to an accomplice. Preschool Granny says, I think he's up to something. Lala just thinks he's a smartass. I think it's very interesting that he didn't check yes or no. Just Me thinks it's reasonable doubt. Woody Wood thinks his visual snow was acting up on that one question. I think it's pretty telling that he didn't, and I don't think he has an accomplice for whatever reason. I think it's just him, even though it seems highly unlikely that someone could do this in 20 minutes. Everything points to him. And we still have no idea the results of the hair tests, the animal hair tests. What was he buying at Walmart? There was a Dickies tag in there. That may not have been the only thing that he bought there. Lone Wolf threw this up in Discord and said, have you thought that maybe he bought the K-Bar at the Walmart? They sell them there at the Pullman Supercenter, 9128. Maybe he bought the knife there. I thought that was a really good point. What's to say he didn't? Let's look at the inventory list again. Oh boy, it's blurry. 8 possible hair strands, a Fire TV stick, black glove, Walmart receipt with a Dickies tag. It doesn't say receipt. 2 Marshall's receipts, though. Hang on. Walmart receipt with a Dickies tag. So, like, he peeled the sticker off the clothing and he put it on the receipt. I don't know. Animal hair, possible hair, possible hair, possible hair, possible hair strand, computer tower. Then we get to what I'm really interested in. Why you have all the dark red stains on your stuff, Bushy. You have a pillowcase with no pillow. You have a pillow with no pillowcase and a mattress cover. I don't know. I think that testing would be really, really interesting. And it'll all come out. That is for sure. That is for sure. I do want to know more about the police chief in Pullman. In April of 2022, he met with this guy. It said that he started leasing his apartment in August of 2022, and well, we know the murders were November 13th. He had his experiment at DeSales University where he wanted to talk to people about how tingly they would get before, during, and after a crime. So then I kind of go back to what the police were saying when they said, hold up, the DA misspoke, there's a miscommunication. It may not have anything to do with anybody in the house. The house could be a target. He is nasty. He had some stuff in the works way before November 13th. Way before. Way before. Well, guys, that's all I've got for you. We went through the Mad Greek. We went through his rights. I do think it's weird that he did not answer yes or no when they said, did someone coerce you to do this? Somebody put you up to it? Somebody behind why you acted out like this? He didn't answer yes or no. I don't know why he wouldn't answer yes or no. Yes, there's an accomplice. No, there's not. It's a long time till June, so be really careful out there. There's lots of rumors going around. Lots of people that want to stir up trouble for no reason. We know how it goes. This isn't our first rodeo. This is rodeo number like 5,001 for us. But you know the drill. You know the drill. All right, guys, stay warm. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a show again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. In the meantime, I'll see you over in Discord, or I'll see you in one of the Facebook groups. So, you guys, like I said, stay warm. Thanks for all the great comments. Always being cool and allowing this amazing discussion to take place every day. You're the best.